Hello from the city of London. Today, who do we have?
Are you asking me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were going to say how. So my name is Gentiana, and I live in London. I work. I'm one of your colleagues, and I'm really pleased that our paths have crossed.
I'm very pleased our paths have crossed to Gentiana. Gentiana has been, honestly, one of the most incredible people I've met in my time at Adobe so far in my career. And she's been such a gem and in supporting me in, honestly, just changing the way I look at the world and in navigating corporate life. Especially in embracing who I am while, doing my best. Because when I first joined the corporate world, I thought that you have to maintain this perfect image and be this specific type of persona, but she helped me realize that expressing who you really are at your core is so important, and we're gonna talk a lot about that today. But before we do a bit of that, I told Gentiana, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, and she was like, no, that's boring. I wanna resonate with the audience. But I told her, we want to hear about you first. So Gentiana, I leave the floor to you, and please share a little bit about yourself.
Alrighty. So I was born in Albania a long time ago. I'm not going to go there.
I really need to visit Albania.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Summertime, it's an amazing destination.
Yes.
And not too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was born in Albania. I moved to the US in my teens. I studied in the US. I worked for a while. And then I'm like, what is there to life? I was doing consulting at the time for about 5 years, and it was not a very healthy lifestyle because I was on the road Sunday to Friday, every day, every week of the year. And I knew my diary for 9 months in advance.
Wow. 9 months?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
As long as it takes to make a baby.
I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, so that's a long time, right? So it doesn't allow for a lot of serendipity, which is very important to me. I felt kind of boxed in quite a bit. And so I looked at where do I take my career? And in that path, I was just going to become my manager, and the lifestyle was exactly the same. And I decided to leave the US and come to London to do an MBA, because what do you do when you don't know what to do? You go back to school. So I did that. My MBA was in London, in Dubai, and in Shanghai, and it was an amazing experience.
Awesome.
And
what was it in?
Innovation.
Yes. And why did you choose to specialize in innovation?
I'm quite a creative person, even though my studies were very scientific. I think I was missing a bit of the creative aspect of it. And I thought, what else is there in business that brings both together, right and left brain? And so innovation, I thought, was the right path. And so yeah, that's what I decided, and it was great and learned a lot. And when I was in Shanghai, I missed London. I didn't miss the US as much. So decided to stay. So I came back for graduation and got myself a job. And then I went to work for a startup. I had a startup with a few friends for a while.
I remember this.
Yeah, it was a party business. Also, what do you do when you're 30 years old? You just want to party. So that was an awesome experience. We brought private chefs into people's homes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Did you have to test the food of the chefs?
Yes, I got that.
That's so fun.
That was part of the interview.
No way.
I'm not joking.
Oh my god.
Because besides the chefs making food, it had to be displayed in a certain way. It had to be entertaining. They had to actually they had to explain everything about the ingredients. It was all like really good quality food. And the idea was, well, a lot of people in London, they go out 3 to 4 times a week. So if we can bring the party into people's homes once a week, then we would have a business model. So I did that about a year, and it was a very interesting experience. Hard. That's hard work. Like,
sounds challenging, yeah.
It was.
Who was your coolest customer?
Well, they were individuals. They were all individuals.
What did they do?
You mean as far as party?
Yeah.
It was a birthday party. It was a big birthday party. There were about like 25 people. So we had to bring all like, not just the chefs, but sommelier and entertainment. And it was amazing. Nice. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, startups don't pay well when you're that early on. And we were raising money. And because I had just done my MBA, I needed funding. So I'm like, I can't stay. I need a real job.
Yeah.
So then after that, I went and worked at a startup for a little bit and launched their business in Italy. That was amazing as well.
Love that.
Had a lot to do with fashion. And
I would say you're quite a fashionista. Would you not agree?
Everybody asks me if I work in fashion.
Yeah, you have really cool fashion sense.
When I tell people that, no, I work in tech, they're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Even this weekend that I told you I was in Glastonbury, we had a big dinner. And people are like, oh, do you work in fashion? I'm like, no.
If you saw Gentiana walking down the streets, you would 100% think, like, yeah, no, I get why people question you working in tech as opposed to fashion, because like even at when we did the customer workshop together back when we first met, like your outfit was so, like, it was so stylish. It stood out from the crowd amongst the corporate outfits, the classic corporate outfits. And that's another way you're great at being yourself with your style.
It's exactly that. And to me, there is almost no distinction between what I wear at the office versus what I wear outside. And I know there is a level of professionalism that you need to bring in the office. And I'm not going to come in with like torn jeans, because I appreciate that, right?
Yeah.
You need to be taken seriously. But most of my things, they're just me. And the way that I dress, the way that I style myself, it's an extension of me. Like even during COVID, I was still doing the same thing, even though I was not going anywhere.
Even at home?
I was waking up, I was putting makeup on because it's my meditation in the morning. And based on the color of my makeup, people know what mood I'm in. So to me, it's a meditative practice. Selecting what you're going to wear, it's a meditative practice.
Tell us more about that.
I think in the Western world, we don't spend enough time to really get to know ourselves and center ourselves. So I told you I was away for the weekend.
Yeah.
And when I came back home, I just felt really scattered.
Why?
And I was telling one of my friends that I feel like scattered, and he's like, what are you talking about? Like, I feel like my energy is all over the place because it's been about 5 weeks now. I haven't spent a weekend at home. And because of that, I just don't feel grounded.
Yeah.
And I don't feel connected with my core.
I get you.
And normally, every morning, I do meditation. And because I've been crazy busy, I was on holiday, I had my sister over.
Yeah, last week.
Then I had this event. I've kind of not done my routine, and I feel it. And I feel it on the decisions I'm making because I'm not connecting with myself. And then I'm changing my mind afterwards, which is very unlike me. And so for me, it's spending that time in the morning to intentionally start the day is really, really important. Is to get present rather than in the past and in the future. So that's kind of my brain. It feels very much like that. Even though I traveled back home physically, it feels like my energy is still somewhere else. So by doing this meditative practice in the morning, it's like calling back the scattered bits of me. So I feel whole and well-resourced and decide like I'll come up with an intention every morning. I actually have a journal. I'll come up with an intention
For the day.
and for the day, what I want out of the day, and a lot of it could be based on what is in my diary, or it could be maybe I want to feel a certain way today. And so then I meditate on that intention, like how does that manifest? How does that look like?
And does that link to the outfit that you choose to wear?
That's part of it, yeah.
Wow. And do you do that before you choose the outfit? Like before you go to your closet?
Yes. I do that before I take a shower in the morning.
That's a very creative way of understanding. Wait, you're a morning showerer?
Yes.
Why morning over night? I think night's the way to go.
I used to. When I was in school, I used to do night showers. If I take a shower in the evening, I feel quite awake. I find showers quite revitalizing, and then I can't fall asleep. Like, I would take a bath in the evening if I really wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I love baths in the evening, but definitely shower in the morning to wake me up. I find it quite energizing, and normally I end the shower with, like, cold water.
Like ice cold?
Like, I turn off the heat. So
really?
For the last minute.
Wow.
And that kind of fully wakes me up.
Interesting. I aspire to get to the level of ice cold showers, but I do see the benefit in cold showers in the morning. I just love the feeling of going to bed, having taken a shower, feeling all clean, and you know that feeling when you get into bed. It's you can't beat that feeling.
I mean, I love sleep, so any time of day, whenever I get in bed is nice.
True that. Thanks for sharing about the meditative practice of choosing an outfit. I don't think many people would have thought of it that way. But you told us a bit about you and your journey from the US and consulting to London and beyond innovation, a party business. Beyond these titles and these roles, Gentiana, who would you say you are? Who are you at core?
I'm definitely an artist. Yeah. I'm not trained as an artist, and I actually resist getting trained because I don't want to be influenced. But I paint and I write. And so that's definitely my true self.
What kind of things do you write? Because you've told me you write before. I'd love to know more about what you write.
It's normally quite like philosophical topics.
Like the paper that you're writing at the moment?
That was one. But it's normally about concepts. To me, I've always been fascinated with existence. Like, why are we here? What is this all about? Why do my limbs like hang on to me and not falling? You know. But
that's also science, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm like, why do the atoms like stick together? Like, it never made any sense to me.
What's your favorite philosophical theory?
Very interesting. I do like Nietzsche a lot. Existentialism. Now, there's a lot, to be honest, that I really enjoy. I like the old Greeks, Plato. Also, I do study a lot of esoterica because it feels to me those circles are the only circles, at least that I've had access to, where you can discuss philosophical ideas. So I'm very much into like ancient Egypt and the old Greek mythology.
I think those two are very interesting as well.
Yeah, and so Western esotericism and mysticism, I relate a lot more than the Eastern traditions. I appreciate the Eastern ones, but I don't connect with them as much.
How come?
They feel very unfamiliar, and probably I haven't spent enough time in that context to appreciate them enough. They just don't resonate in body. So if I do any like Eastern practices, I do yoga and I love yoga, but the concepts and the way they think, like the non-dualism, it's interesting. I very much have a hard time living that way. I conceptualize it and understand it. Yeah. But it's very hard for me to embody that. But the Western esotericism, because it's more dual, I can easily see that in being manifested in the real world.
What is that? Sorry, the Western
esotericism?
Yeah.
But the traditions that I mentioned, so old Greek traditions, Hermeticism, old Egyptian traditions, Greek mythology. It's all the gods of Egypt. Isis and Osiris and Set and Hathor, Bastet, Anubis is one of my most favorite gods.
Oh wow, you know them all.
Yes, I know a lot of them. And the Greek traditions. And I think the reason I'm drawn to them is because they're archetypes.
Archetypes.
That's what they are. To me, there's no big daddy up in the sky telling us what to do.
Interesting.
I'm definitely... I would say I'm more agnostic than anything. I'm not religious. But the gods and the goddesses are archetypes. So they're patterns of behavior that we embody.
Interesting.
And knowing them and their qualities, you can pick to actually embody those qualities. So in my morning meditation, that's aspects of what I bring into the meditation, because each of them have different flavors. And based on the intention that I have, it's like, okay, how do I want to behave today? And so it's exactly matching with the archetypes.
Whoa. So this is this relevant to why you thought of archetypes when I was planning the personality session?
Yes.
Interesting.
So there's different archetypes, right? It doesn't have to be the gods and the goddesses. Like what you use for your session, it's similar. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Those are quite similar to a lot of the archetypes that are in the tarot. But they're different names.
Yeah.
But archetypes are used throughout business.
And
also in psychology, right? I love Jung, Carl Jung. He was the one who coined that name, the archetypes. So, it's an architecture of behavior. That's what it is.
Oh, is archetype a shortcut for architecture?
Kind of.
I see, okay.
And so being aware of what you're pulling in, because there's different aspects. So you saw in the deck you had, right? Yeah. So there's the light and the dark, right? And as long as they're expressed in the right context, there's no good or bad.
Yeah.
When you express it in the wrong context, that's where you end up in having conflict. So we talked about like the rebel, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very much a rebel, and it's good to bring the rebel in times where energy is very stagnant and there's no progress.
Yeah.
Because you need someone to insert new energy into the context in order for things to move on. If there's no momentum and inertia has kicked in, everything is stagnant. So then how do you move things along if no one is embodying a prankster or a rebel? And so the prankster is Hermes as an archetype.
Wow.
He's the trickster god.
It's cool to think about how you link it to your like spiritual values, and for example, you said you're not as religious, whereas I, on the other hand, I'm very like religious, but at the same time I can also really resonate with archetypes in a different way. I think of them as like the qualities, right, that for context to the audience, I hosted a session on personality and leveraging your personality, and Gentiana helped me prepare it. And she proposed the idea of archetypes, and we got these different personas that we're now talking about, like the rebel, the prankster, etc. And how you can, and we essentially guided the audience to pinpoint which qualities of the archetypes they feel they showcase or embody outside work, and then how they can better embody them at work. And I thought of them as key qualities that I link to who I am as a person at core, and these qualities ultimately link to my values and I believe in one God spiritually, and how I my best person. I perform as my best self by embodying these qualities, and these qualities conform to my values, which are ultimately linked to my wider spiritual beliefs and the God that I follow. But it's cool to see how different people think of it or apply their archetypes in different ways.
They're used a lot in psychotherapy because that's a lot of psychotherapies around archetypes. So there's like the king and the queen, for example. And if you really look at it, there's different kind of, there's the serving king, which is exactly what the king should be, right? It's serving the people. It's not about the king or the queen themselves. Or then you have the authoritative king that's just making decisions and being selfish and is doing it for power, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same archetype, but there's the two different sides. It's the light and the dark. And so if you know how they express the light and the dark, you can choose to bring it in consciously. Because otherwise they will express unconsciously, because it's the unconscious mind works through archetypes.
Mm.
And so if you don't embrace both sides of the archetype, they will express at the wrong time. And so often, for example, if you're in a situation where you behave in a way that I could have done better, because you said, oh, I want to embody my best self. But we're human, right? And we err. And often it's because we're not expressing these archetypes in a conscious way. They're unconsciously, because we're suppressing the dark side of it, they want expression. So they're coming out at the most inconvenient of times. And that's when you're like, I definitely could have done better. But if you consciously bring them in the right context, rather than suppressing them, you'll be more authentic. Mm-hmm. They'll find an expression through you. Then the unconscious mind will not intervene at the wrong time. So understanding archetypes, I think, is really important because we all are embodying them, but we're not aware we're doing them.
Yeah. And so you said yours is the prankster.
Oh, that's just one of them. Obviously, we have different dimensions, right? But yeah, the prankster, the trickster, it's Hermes.
How do you feel that you bring elements of this archetype to what you do at work?
A lot of it is through questioning, right? Through looking at the context or the content from a different perspective, or challenging something. When everybody's agreeing with something, then you kind of drop in a question, and people are like, "Whoa, what was that about?" But then all of a sudden they start thinking differently. So it's normally to question status quo, because often we end up in this kind of agreeing with everybody because we want to be nice. And that's lovely, but if that's not necessarily the best way to behave for the desired outcome, then you need a trickster spirit to come in and actually stir the pot a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Do you have an example of how you can do a question or a phrase that you do this with that avoids...
Normally it's funny because normally, when things are quiet, when you normally talk, and then all of a sudden the conversation just goes quiet and everybody's like looking at each other.
Yeah.
They always say Hermes has stepped into the room. And Hermes is Mercury as well. So if you really think of Mercury, Mercury is neither metal nor liquid, it's both. So Hermes takes the shape of what it needs to in the moment, because it's not completely rigid and it's not completely like fluid. And so it's that, to be able to embody flexibility in the moment. So whenever things get quiet and everybody's looking at each other staring and they don't know what to say, that's the exact time to inject something new into the conversation. So it's that pause, that pregnant pause. Yeah. That's when Hermes is invited into the conversation.
And that's when you invite the question, your questioning nature.
Yes, because normally that's kind of a pause in the conversation. There's nothing else to say, but you still haven't arrived at the conclusion you need to arrive. And it's like, oh, who's going to take like the next, the who's going to speak next, and everybody's staring at each other. That's exactly the time to insert a kind of a challenging question,
and
in order to move the conversation forth.
How do you overcome? Sorry, I cut you off. But how do you overcome that fear of, okay, well, if no one listens to me or no one agrees with me, and my idea is just going to be rejected? Like, how do you overcome the uncertainty around that, the fear, let's say?
So, it's an interesting question, right? Because you always risk rejection when you bring in new consciousness into the space.
Yeah.
That shouldn't let you not speak, right? One of the things is to kind of gauge your audience. What is the audience ready for? So you can go completely wild, but with a very conservative audience, that's not going to blend very well. So being measured is really important. It's empathizing with the audience, because just like we spoke at the beginning, it's not about you. It's never about you. It's about them, right? So ultimately, if you're having any kind of a conversation, you want to come into a conclusion, is don't bring the selfish aspect into it. The idea this group is together is to come to a conclusion, some sort of outcome. It's not about the people. So if you take yourself out of the equation and do what's right for the situation, more than likely it will land well. But you need to recognize the different personalities you have in the room and how challenging you can be. So the best way is to be present. If you're present in the situation, you read body language. You can see how people have responded. Also using similar terminology as they've used, because the more familiar your language is, the more your message is going to be embraced. Also, often, especially, and you can be seen as manipulative, but if there's some particular person that you know is going to be challenging and you need to kind of win them over, if you have complete direct eye contact with them, and kind of nod your head as you're speaking, they'll mirror you, even though they don't necessarily know they're mirroring you. And by doing that, their entire body is going to signal that they actually agree with you, even though mentally, so unconsciously, they'll agree with you.
Whoa.
And then that's how you can bring people in to be bought into an idea that you think is relevant, but you might think is going to be rejected. So there's a lot about how people process information. So I studied NLP. I don't know if you know about NLP. So a lot of it is about understanding how people take in information, right? So if you look at, so you want to figure out what their dominant sense is. So it could be either their hearing, their sight, their vision, or whether they're kinesthetic. So a lot of it you can see by the movement of their eyes.
How do you figure out what their dominant sense is?
Based on the movement of their eyes.
Okay.
So if they're moving their eyes up, then they're normally visual. If they're looking down on the right-hand side, they're normally kinesthetic. And if they're looking on the left-hand side, they're normally auditory.
Okay.
Straight. And then if they're looking down, it's kind of like they're processing. So it's more a mental. It's called digital auditory. And so based on how they're moving their eyes, that can give you a lot about who this person is. And so then you can use the same words. So I'm highly visual. If somebody uses words to stimulate my vision, so don't you see, or can you see this? It seems that kind of. But if somebody is more kinesthetic, then you can say, oh, how does that feel? And so in the moment, they actually will connect to their sense and they'll get a response. Or does that sound right if you're auditory? And then you appeal to people the way that they actually process the world. And then you're being more targeted to them. And it makes it easier for them to absorb the information and process the information. And so that's part of how you can better communicate. It helps with communicating with people. So Yeah,
And you've told me a lot about how you're a very visual person. What made you realize that you're a very visual person?
It's funny. I knew always that I was visual. Like, you can tell because of the way I look and the way I dress. Like, I put a lot of, it's not effort. To me, it's effortless. But to other people, it seems like it's effortful. I just know what color goes with another. Like, I never studied color theory. But I just know intuitively what goes well together. But when my first class, my NLP class, I went in and met the teacher, and we had to take a test to determine what is kind of how the process called. And so mine was like super highly, like extremely visual. And the teacher said, he's like, I knew that you were going to be visual the moment you walked in the room. I'm like, how? He said, because visual people look a certain way. They're slim. They're quite slim. They and small boned in general. That's what he said. I never heard of it. Yeah, and they dress a certain way. And he's like, and normally the hair is not straight, but I had straightened my hair, but my hair is actually wavy. Like, this is like what
You're
it is
joking.
today. This is my natural hair. Yes. And he said their hair is normally wiry, and I'm like, he's like, so I'm not. Maybe you've done something to your hair, and I'm like, what? So yeah, highly visual people have certain characteristics.
Whoa.
So I thought that was really interesting.
That's crazy. Yeah. Wait, what did this professor study? Like, what's his...
NLP hypnosis. So he's a practitioner. Yeah, and then he also teaches.
NLP, oh wow. This is making me want to study NLP.
I love NLP. It makes you a lot more effective at communicating. And I think communication is super important because that's how we relate with others also.
Yeah.
Like, we speak to others. Like, if I want to have you understand my point of view, I have to use words. Even though 92% of all communication is unconscious. And so that's what they teach you in NLP. To kind of pay attention to the slightest movements that happen in a person to kind of see how the message is landing.
What's the most surprising thing you learned about
in NLP? How quickly you can change someone's behavior using hypnotic language. So I used to think that, it takes forever to actually change patterns of behavior because your neurons have been like function in a certain way. There's certain neural pathways that are always on, and they always say it takes 21 days to kind of start a new habit and all of that kind of stuff. But with NLP, you can literally break a pattern for like, after you have a session from someone who's like really well qualified, a half an hour session, it will literally break your behavior, like an unwanted behavior or belief it's fascinating. To me, it's magic. It's literally magic. And it can make such a difference in people's lives. So I haven't necessarily used it in that because I don't necessarily do therapy. But I use it quite a bit during communication to be better understood and better influence people.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's a great one speaking to colleagues and to customers. Just generally in your life, like, communication is everything.
I completely agree.
Amazing. Well, is there anything else you'd be keen to share, Gentiana?
It's interesting because the thing that I've been getting quite into lately is understanding happiness. And so when we were talking earlier about knowing yourself, identifying, what archetype is coming through and how to best express that in an intentional way, is ultimately it's, how do I be myself?
Yeah.
And so at the base of it is self-discovery and self-knowledge. But why does that matter? The reason that it matters is so that you live you don't go against you. So you can actually have some level of satisfaction, meaning, and happiness in life.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
What is happiness to you? How do you define happiness?
I have a very long talk about this. So happiness, there's two things about happiness. There's two aspects. There's what's known as hedonia and eudaimonia.
Okay.
So hedonia is the pleasure in the moment aspect of it. So it's hedonic
Yes,
pleasure.
more short term.
Yeah. And then eudaimonia is happiness that's linked quite a lot with well-being and meaning. So you may not necessarily get pleasure in the moment, but you get satisfaction in the long run. So a good example that I can give you is parents, right? They have a child. It's freaking difficult to take care of a child.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily give you any of the hedonic pleasures in the moment. But you do it because of what it gives you in the long run.
Yeah.
Which is the eudaimonic kind of happiness.
Yeah.
Longer term, gives you purpose, gives you meaning. It kickstarts a lot of the neurobiological processes that are linked to happiness. So it kicks in the care circuitry, because we are built to care of other people, because simply it increases our chances of survival. And having a care aspect in your life, whether it's children, whether it's a parent, whether it's through work, like being in management and taking care of your team, or doing any voluntary work outside to take care of people, it's a really important. It's a really important aspect to your own happiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the two aspects of happiness, and I think they need to be in really good balance, not one taking over the other. So you intentionally need to involve yourself in activities that provide both. The brain loves both of them, just in equal measure.
And are painting and writing ways that you give yourself happiness?
Yes, because it's a form of... So an aspect of it is authenticity, self-expression, and self-mastery. And so self-mastery is how does life want to speak through me, and allowing that.
Yeah.
And so the reason I'm involved with innovation, because it's bringing that aspects. I'm quite imaginative and creative, bringing that aspect of me to speak through me in my professional work. But then outside, that creativity expresses through writing and painting. And yeah, it's a big part of me, but because that's how life wants to talk through me. If I don't express that way, I won't be happy. And I think everybody's got a way to express. So that's exactly what the word express is. How do you press onto the world? And so that's kind of how I express onto the world, like my signature. And I think everybody has a gift, so I think it's really important for people to find their gift and express it fully. They won't be happy unless they find their gift.
How do people find their gift?
A lot of soul searching, I would say. A lot of time alone. Because they always say, and I love this expression, you have to lose your mind to find your soul.
How do you know if you've lost your mind?
You'll know when you lost your mind. What that really means is you need to get out of your head. And connect to the other part of you that we don't do enough. And so how do you get out of your head and embody the rest of you? Because the voice of your soul is very quiet. So you need to find the quiet in you for it to speak. Because once you find that inner voice, it could be quite guiding as to what is. I think everybody's got a path. And I think that inner voice will guide you to what your path is. But you need to quiet the mind in order for it to speak. Because it's speaking all the time, but often we have our self-talk that's overriding. So that's why meditation is very helpful, to quiet the mind, to find that the inner voice.
So what kind of outfit, what intention is your outfit today linked to?
I told you that I was quite tired.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to find today, I literally wanted to kind of bring in all the pieces. And so I wore a pair of very comfortable jeans, which is not me. Normally, my jeans are not comfortable. They're quite tight.
Leather.
They're like quite baggy
Yeah.
to allow for comfort. And then the black is what sucks everything in, you know, it's magnetic. It's like the black hole, you know, bringing all the bits of me that have scattered in.
And the cheetah necklace. Is that a cheetah or a tiger?
No, this is a lioness.
A lioness.
Goddess. It's Sekhmet. It's one of the Egyptian goddesses.
Interesting.
That I adore.
Wow. And
so,
do you prefer silver over gold generally?
Definitely.
Or
yeah,
why?
Definitely silver. I don't know, I find gold too flashy.
Were you a gold girl before?
I've never been
always
a gold
silver.
Girl. Rarely. So even if I have anything gold, it's normally white gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like rose gold.
Yeah, rose gold's cute.
Yeah.
But I feel it's harder to match rose gold to outfits.
True. I mean, I wear a lot of black, so anything goes with black, which is easy.
Yeah.
But then when I wear like colorful stuff, yes, definitely it's harder. But sometimes I don't care. It doesn't have to match. I think your accessories don't have to necessarily match.
Do you think there's such thing as... Because you said you're good naturally at understanding what colors work with what. But do you think this concept of colors matching or clothes matching is objective or subjective? Like, can people decide whether things match or not? Or is it true that some things just match like certain colors align with each other better than others?
Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah, certain colors are complementary and there's other colors that just clash.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely. So if you want purple, it goes brilliantly with like yellow and orange.
Purple and orange? Really?
Yeah, yellow and orange.
I don't like purple and orange. I really am not a fan of.
Well, you might not be a fan of the colors, but they go really well together. So,
do you know that like, you know those scammy, dodgy shops that sell sweets and they're like money launderers on the streets?
Yes, which I've never gone into, but yes, I know.
There's one called Kingdom. Well, okay, I don't actually know if this is a scam place. Maybe it's an actual brand. But it's called Kingdom of Sweets and it looks a bit dodgy. I'm sure you've seen it like on Leicester Square.
I'm sure I've seen them, I just never go in.
Yeah, I don't go in, and the reason I don't go in, because you know me, I love chocolate, but I don't go in because of the horrible combination of colors of purple and orange.
It's a repellent.
Exactly, so that's why I'm surprised why you're saying.
But those are colors that don't appeal to you, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't go together. Those are just not your colors. They don't speak to you. And so that's why people have a favorite color. And I'm sure psychologists will probably tell you exactly why you like certain colors. And also, I think for me, the colors I wear express my mood a lot. So like I find black very empowering and red very empowering. And so if I need to be in that state of mind, so if I have a presentation or stuff like that, I will definitely wear empowering colors. I can't wear beige. Literally, I'm like, it feels to me like somebody slit my wrist and the blood has like left me.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I feel when I see beige on me. Lifeless. And so I never wear it. Brown, I don't wear because it makes me feel very kind of muted. And there's people that brown looks stunning on. And so I do pick very bright colors when I have color because it goes best, I think, with my personality and obviously my natural coloring, but also my personality.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can empower yourself with the colors you wear. Absolutely.
I need to think about that.
For me, it's an extension of you. It's a way of expressing. Rather than accidentally, I had a friend saying, you don't accidentally look like Gentiana. You don't just wake up, I'm like, yeah, fair.
I love that. So what's an action you can give to the audience, Gentiana? An action or like a final message you would put out there for them?
Dare to be you. I think it's an act of courage There's no one like you. I literally think every single person is unique to an extreme extent, not just slightly different. But we're throughout, from like when you're young, throughout your education, you're put in a box. And we're all trying to find our boxes. And I think there's no box. It's just a made-up concept. And this is one of the things that I'm actually excited about AI. Because it's going to do a lot of the jobs that we were put in a box to do.
Yeah.
We were kind of like made a cog to fit this big machine. Because that's what the cog needed, some specialized capacity and skill set. And now the robots are going to take over. You will be freed from being a cog, and you can actually be who you truly are and find your true expression. And so the sooner you start that process, the better it is for you, I think. Going against yourself is not healthy. Fitting in is not healthy. When you fit in, when everybody around you is doing the same. So you need to dare to be different, because we're all different. And by doing that, you're empowering other people to do the same.
100%.
So, yeah, be fearless. There's nothing to fear. Like, I would be terrified if I weren't me. That would be horrific. Because I'm like, nobody can be me. So why don't I do what I'm best at? And so, yeah, dare to be
Dare
yourself,
to be you,
think.
everyone.
Yeah.
Wow, there you have it. That was lovely. I like how you phrased that. And yeah, it's true. It's not healthy to go against yourself, because you feel it in your gut when you're not listening to yourself and you're not tuning into who you are. And that's something I was on a panel like last week, and they asked about what's something up and coming and how you define success. And I said, ultimately for me, I think aligning with my values and ensuring that what I do day to day is aligning with what means a lot to me, what matters to me, what my values are. Because if it's not, then you just feel drained, like in your soul, you can feel it, or at least I feel it. So
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
Even if they're not acknowledging it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's unhealthy. So if you want a long, healthy, happy life, just do you.
Be yourself. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for being a guest today, Gentiana.
This was lovely.
Had so much fun chatting with you as always. Always lose track of time when we talk.
I know, right? I'm just looking at the time.
It's literally been an hour. But I'd love to have you again another time as a guest. This was a good kickoff episode. But any final words before I end the recording?
Go out in the sun.
Go up in the sun.
Go out.
Go out in the sun.
As much as possible, yes. Because I find being out we've had amazing weather.
Mm-hmm.
I find going out and staring at the sun for like 5 or 10 minutes completely revitalizes you.
It does.
And often we spend too much time indoors. And by the time that we're out, the sun is gone. So intentionally take some time to be out, connect with nature. And when we have the gift of sun, try to just absorb the energy as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the sun first came back to London, when I was outside, I was outside in the park and I was looking at it and I was like, I genuinely feel like I just woke up from a really long nap. I feel like alive again.
Like you're hibernating.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah.
It was crazy. I was like, what was I doing the last 3-4 months? Like, where was I? I genuinely feel like awake and alive again.
Yeah, because we are light, and that's the thing. We're light. And it's almost like connecting with your true self. We are made of light. There's light and there's matter, and matter is the densest expression of light. And so, So go and absorb as much of the life source as possible.
we're expecting everyone to go right now. Go outside to the sun if you can.
It
If you
is-
have sun.
It is sunny out.
It
Still.
is sunny out. This is our sign.
I thought it was funny when you said when sun came back to London. I'm like, it feels like that.
Right?
It's a luxury.
It's a privilege to have the sun all the time. Like, I mean, like growing up, I had that, and I didn't realize how much of a privilege it was until I
You take
moved.
it for granted. Right?
Yeah. But I hope this gave everyone some serotonin, and have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Gentiana.
You're most welcome. It was a pleasure.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
Please do.